Well, that's Noah Evanchik and Francine Renaud giving an introduction to Niki Ashton, the youngest candidate in the race, 29 years old. And here she is. She'll speak in 3 languages. Let's watch.
The old politics of Stephen Harper has left us a legacy of growing inequality, the threat of war, and inaction when it comes to climate change.
Because of the old politics and old programs, the situation of my generation may be worse than that of our parents and our grandparents.
I am proud to be part of the Jack Layton generation, where age, gender, background are no barriers to achieving our dreams, where common challenges are met with common purpose, where all of our voices are part of making the decisions that affect us. Je fais partie.
I'm a full member of Jack's legacy. At the last Parliament, I was the youngest woman, and now there are several young MPs with me. Together, we're part of a team achieving Jack Layton's vision.
I am proud to have been born and raised in Thompson, Manitoba, a mining town, a union town, where women and men go to work every day to produce the wealth of our country. Our neighbors are First Nations, Métis, the first peoples of this land. I am the daughter of immigrants. My first language is neither English nor French, but Greek. No
member of my family is francophone, and my town is 96% anglophone, but I'm proud to be able to speak both official languages. Thompson is a multicultural community, and that's where I learned about our diversity and the wealth of our country.
In one of the wealthiest countries of the world, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people still live in third world living conditions. In Thompson, at the height of a resource boom, we stand to lose 500 jobs. But this is the story of so many communities across Canada. First Nations communities, the downtown east side in Vancouver, underdeveloped regions like the Gaspé.
Communities that have lost, such as London, Hamilton, Alma, and yes, Thompson, because of foreign takeovers.
I see frustration and despair in rural communities from Weyburn to Grand Prairie because of the loss of the single-desk Canadian Wheat Board. I have seen the growing inequality in cities like Montreal, Toronto, Regina, where more and more middle-income Canadians are falling further and further behind. But this didn't just happen. It's the result of years of corporate tax breaks, unfair trade deals, cuts to social programs like healthcare and housing, hikes in tuition fees, cuts to pensions, and the erosion of collective bargaining. And it didn't just happen under the Conservatives. No, on issues of economic justice and economic fairness, the old saying applies. Liberal, Tory, same old story. We can do better. Le Canada est à la croisée de chemin.
Canada's at the crossroads. Our movement has made major progress in the past few years. We're here to elect the next leader of the opposition, and we're ready to govern in 2015.
What brought us to this point today? 50 years ago, progressive Canadians brought together the proud tradition of the CCF, a party that brought us Medicare and pensions, with the proud tradition of the labor movement to form the new Democratic Party. A party that fights for justice, for peace, for the environment, a party that fights for ordinary people. We are not just a party that seeks to govern, we are a movement that seeks to change Canada and the world for the better. Our party has accomplished a lot in opposition, but we know from our experience in 5 provinces and 1 territory what we can accomplish when we govern. In 2003, Jack Layton told us that winning shouldn't be taboo in the NDP, that we must never equate winning with compromising our values. Jack was right. We need not and we will not sacrifice our vision and our principles. Given a clear choice of the parties of the 1% and our party of the 99%, Canadians will have the choice to elect the first NDP government that will bring a new politics to Canada.
How will we do this? We learn lessons from our success in Quebec. The Orange Wave was a remarkable phenomenon. It struck the imagination of the Québécois and changed Canadian politics. It represents the rejection of old politics. It was a passion in favor of new politics. Jack Layton was the keystone of that accomplishment, not only because he was a good Jack, because he presented progressive positions to end our expensive mission in Afghanistan, to introduce durable peace in the Middle East, a clean environment, a healthy environment. And thanks to the Sherbrooke Declaration, Jack offered voters in Quebec a federalist party that celebrated the aspirations of Quebec within a united Canada.
Now we need to do the same in Western Canada. We will not win government with only 3 seats in the prairies. Stephen Harper wins in the West because he uses fear. And then he takes Westerners for granted. New Democrats can speak to Westerners' aspirations, including those Westerners who voted Conservative, and we can win their support moving forward. As your leader, I would invite progressive activists and Western New Democrats to Lethbridge to draft a Lethbridge Declaration that will set the groundwork for a Western breakthrough. We will then move on to Ontario and Atlantic Canada and make that breakthrough national. We must also be the voice of diversity, of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, to the newest Canadians. We must continue to fight against discrimination and racism.
We must therefore consolidate our wins in Quebec, work to reconquer the West and throughout Canada, and we must involve young people in a movement to bring about true change. We have to speak with my generation about the stakes that affect them.
And the eradication of poverty, our first priority on the world stage.
We have to implement a plan to build an economy that is more inclusive, more sustainable, more effective.
We must address the climate crisis immediately. We
have to reject takeovers and disloyal commercial practices.
Growing diversity, starting with reinstating our family-based immigration system.
We must put an end to conditions in the third world for natives in Canada.
Back to the justice system. We must modernize our drug laws, provide expanded legal care, and make sure we're building safer communities instead of bigger prisons.
We must ensure financial security for our artists so that they will be able to tell our story. We must fight against censorship in all its forms. We have to defend freedom of expression and protect privacy, particularly on the internet.
We must stop just defending Medicare. We must strengthen and expand Medicare with a national pharmacare program and a Crown corporation to produce generic drugs.
Increasing inequality in Canada is a determining stake, and we can attack that inequality by showing our solidarity to students in Quebec who are today fighting against the increase in tuition fees.
And we will present a vision for retirement security that includes all Canadians. Nous pouvons rejeter la...
We can reject all politics, the cynicism of Stephen Harper, who is dividing generations. We can mobilize youth and make them get involved.
In his last letter to us, Jack told us, hope is better than fear. Stephen Harper and the old line parties use a message of fear and despair. We offer Canadians hope. Hope for a better tomorrow for themselves and for future generations. So, Stephen Harper, if you're watching, I have a message for you.
For too long now, you've tried to divide Canadians, east against the west, rural regions against the cities.
Language, gender, age, religion, sexual orientation. Anything to get you your votes. You have manipulated and debased our own democratic system. Stephen Harper, here is my message to you. Enjoy being Prime Minister while it lasts. Parce que si vous pensez...
Because if you think you've seen an orange wave in 2011...
where you will see an orange wave go from coast to coast to coast that will sweep away your old politics, and for the first time in Canadian history, elect an NDP government that will bring new politics to Canada. Maître chez nous.
We will be masters in our own home.
This is our Canada. Merci. Thank you.
Thank you.